in here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite trigger happy raccoon's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at the SHFiguarts Rocket and Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This just arrived today, like literally this morning, and I'm going to have it up tomorrow. And I have a pretty interesting story time at the end of this one, so, well, I don't know if it's interesting to anyone but me, but it is interesting nonetheless. This is a SHFiguarts, so of course it comes with a ton of accessories, and usually, as you know, we start with the hands, but not this time, because this time, this fella can't stand. I can't get him balanced to save my life. I've tried a bunch of stuff and I just can't get him to stand, which you know for me is usually a deal breaker, with one caveat. And that caveat is if it comes with a display stage, which he does, which is rare for SHFiguarts. So let's take a look at it. It's very nice. It's a very clear translucent, so that's also nice. A lot of times they're like kind of cloudy or what have you. This is a crystal clear translucent stage. We have a swivel here, we have a hinge here, we have a hinge here, we have a hinge here, and then we have a swivel at the clips that are just tension loaded. So very nice to get this because the thing can't stand on its own. Kind of most impressive, he comes with two Groots, two baby Groots. They're both done the same way in terms of skin tone, which is they have this paint and they have a heavy brown wash over top of it. Actually, I think it's just the cast plastic and then a heavy brown wash over top of it, which looks stunning. And then it has the suit, little silver and gold accents on the suit, and then the flesh tones are done the same way. The head, it seems, is on a tiny ball peg. You pretty much get the swivel out of it. You don't really get much else. Maybe a little up and a little down. I'm talking fractions of a millimeter. And then we have little swivels here at the arms. They might be ball pegs. I'm not sure. I think they're just regular little plug-in swivels. So you can't see that. So you can get them all the way around, which is nice. And other than that, it's stationary. Now, he can't stand. And neither can this one, which is done the same way as the skin tones on the other one, which is to say just this flat plastic with a heavy brown wash over top, and then the eyes are painted, which I didn't mention on the other one. This one is smiling, this one is frowning, but I wonder if their heads are interchangeable. So I'm going to have, you know what, I think I'm going to go with Naked Groot. I think I'm going to go with Naked Smiling Groot. I think that's the Groot I'm going with. Now the good news is that he can't stand either. What? Good news, Bobby. Yes, good news. And the reason I say good news is because they also come with these. So they don't sacrifice the sculpt, and they come with these little plugins. They give you two, so you can actually display both, which is a nice touch, and I wouldn't normally necessarily expect that. This one doesn't hold as well, but as you can see, it's no problem. Now, this translucent is a bit foggier than the other, but at least it's something. What if I want more of a neutral Groot face? They got you covered. They have an additional Groot face with more of a neutral. I wish they would have had an angry one. I like it when the little baby Groot was angry, like an angry baby Groot, but that's fine. At least they included a third option, so that is nice. Once again, with the heavy wash on it, detailed the same way. Of course, he does come with hands. Two gun-holding hands with the guns molded into them. On a hand this small, that is a breath of fresh air. So you don't have to worry about squeezing a gun into those little fingers and any potential issue from that. And that's nice. We have silver paint, we have gunmetal paint, we have copper paint, and we have some scorch marks there at the end of the barrel. This one just has the gold paint and the silver paint. Very Han Solo-esque, this gun. But they're very nicely done. We have two relaxed hands. They're very small. We'll talk about them more when we get to the figure. And then two, I'm going to get you hands. And then we have two additional head sculpts. One's just a neutral raccoon face. It's detailed the same way. We'll talk about that when we get to the figure. And then the other one is like kind of maybe a laughing or snarling or, aggressive, got his teeth out, so to speak. We have black paint. We have this is a pink plastic base that plugs in. You can see it there on the inside, so that's probably just cast that way. And then the black paint on the kind of the borders of the teeth to gums, which I'm not sure was needed. I think it gives it more of an animated look, which I don't like as much. Like when you're drawing like comics or stuff like that, like or animation, like you always have these black outlines which don't exist in the real world, obviously. And when they do it, it ends up looking a little bit more animated. But they're there nonetheless, and then you have the teeth that are painted nice and clean. Now let's talk about the figure. It's a really nice sculpt, and it's a really nice paint job. So all in all, it's pretty good overall. We have this the same sort of digital paint approach to the face. I'll see if I can zoom in. There we go. Looking good. Teeth are painted nice. I don't really see the black outline on these teeth. You know, like there's some black in his like muzzle, but not on the teeth between the gums. So that's a nice, that's the way they should have done it on the other one. It looks good. The dot matrix is definitely there, but once again, you got to get close to see it. And it's like, you know, it's not a human face, so it's a different sort of paint job than we're used to seeing. And I think they nailed it. I really think they knocked it out of the park. Now, on a figure this small, you might think that they skimped out on articulation, but they really didn't, with one exception, which we will get to. So the head is on a double ball peg from the head in, actually, I think, yep, double ball peg from the head into the neck, double ball peg from the neck into the torso or chest. And it works magnificently. All the way down, good bit up, side to side, confused dog look, etc. It's a really, really nice, nicely engineered and clean sculpt and engineering design. We have the collar that's painted on, and then the trim of the collar is painted as well. For the torso, we have, I don't even know what the base is. It's actually this brown. It's the same brown. So the blue is painted on, the zipper is painted on, the buckles here are painted, the buckles at the collar are painted, and then the shoulder pads are painted, and then this whole piece. So this is a floating piece? Yes, this is a floating piece that's glued into the chest. That's all painted. The silver's painted, the turquoise is painted, the trim around the brown is painted. It's all painted. This is completely painted. It's very nice. Double ball peg from the chest into the abdomen. Single from the abdomen into the pelvis, which gets you a ton of range. You shouldn't have any problem posing this guy whatsoever. The abdomen itself, we have all the like little suit designs that are sculpted and painted. The zipper continues on, so on and so forth. No issues. Look at the little sculpt design in the back of the collar there. Really nice. We have a ball peg coming out to a ball hinge for the shoulder. It actually can come out a bit to get you some extra range, and you can get almost out to 90 degrees. Where it plugs in, it works like a butterfly joint, so you can get the arm a good bit. I popped it out. So, you know, it's one of the problems when you go to review stuff and you're pushing it to its limits. But you can get it a good bit in front of him. So that's a nice added bonus. Like the butterfly joint works well because the kind of the collar for the butterfly joint cuts in to where these straps are in the chest, which allows this piece, which is also sculpted as like suit detailings, to move inward to get the arm across. Really, really smart. All right, so we continue on. Plus, you get the swivel at the ball peg inside, so that's fine. No bicep swivel. You do get a swivel at the shoulder and at the elbow, so that works fine. The elbow's on a single hinge, and it is a very thin hinge, so, you know, be careful. But it gets you past at least 90 degrees, if not a bit past. Ball hinge wrists, so they swivel at both sides, so you can get in, out, and if you swivel it, you can get up, down, supposedly. You can. I'm so sorry. It's something like these are really small joints. And there, up and down. So that's nice. For the skin texturing, it's just like this lighter brown, and then it has like a darker shading done to it, which ends up looking good. It's subtle, but it looks good. A little dry brushing on this side and on this side, just for like some whites and grays. Ends up looking quite nice. Now, for the pelvis, we have, I'm guessing T-jointed. Yeah, they're T-jointed. Ooh, they might be universals. I can't tell because of this holster around it. I can't get a good look at it. But either way, I think they might be ball pegs. They have this cover down joint, which ends up looking nice. You get the legs out to there. Let's focus, shall we? Out to there. And then a good bit front and back as well. Well, not maybe back, but at least front, which is what you really need. And then the thigh swivels around it. Now we have all sorts of paint. All the pockets, like the suit detailings, are painted on, and then the red stripe coming down is painted. The knee pads are all sculpted, painted. There's wrinkles in the suit. It looks It looks perfect. And then we have this tail here that's just, it seems like it's on a swivel. It seems like it should be on a ball hinge, and it might be just a ball peg, but you can't get anything out of it really other than the swivel, which is a little bit of a bummer. But it does have the shading of the raccoon's tail down it, which is nice. And then we have a single hinged knee, which I don't know why mine is. Oh, mine got swivel. There it is. And that gets you a little bit past 90 degrees. Once again, the suit is painted. The knee is actually sculpted. The knee joint is sculpted with wrinkles in it, which is pretty cool. And then it's painted on there, and the stripe continues on. And then we have the same kind of subtle shading on the legs. Little bit of blue overspray there, but not the worst thing in the world. And then we have the ankles, which is kind of the one bummer. And I think they are on little ball hinges. I could be wrong. I can't really find out. But really all you end up getting is the swivel. You do have a toe tilt, a toe hinge, but it's not, it's nice that they included it, but it's not the prettiest. Yeah, it's a ball peg, so you can get a little bit of a rocker, but it's not enough of a rocker to really sell it. So that's my one kind of issue with this guy, articulation-wise. Let's take a look at him in scale. So there he is with Figuarts Hawkeye, and I put Hawkeye on the stand so you can kind of see the real scale. I think it's great. I think it's perfect. I would have put him with Star-Lord, but I think I'm getting him next week, so we'll be taking a look at him soon. Now, for final thoughts, I just want to let you know we're going to discuss price during story time. So make sure you listen to that if you want my opinion on the price of this guy and, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the negatives. He doesn't stand on his own. They do include a display stage, so that certainly does help. And we can't really completely fault him. Just the character design has those small feet, which is going to be difficult without the muscle tone to support the structure of the rest of the character design. So it's just one of those things. At least they include a display stage. And my only other real complaint is no real effective ankle rocker, which is a bit of a bummer. That limits what you can do with him pose-wise and still kind of accurately pull it off and make it seem believable. But I had to be honest, it's very difficult to talk about the issues that I have with this guy while he's holding a baby Groot. It's just challenging to fight how awesome that is. But the paint is beautiful, the sculpt is second to none, the articulation works 90%, the accessories are fantastic, the thoughtfulness of display stages for Groot is just, that's the kind of stuff that really ends up impressing me. It's those little things where they think about the person that's going to be displaying the product. I really, really, really like that kind of stuff. The price is expensive in comparison to the size of the figure. Is that an issue? We're going to find out here in just a second. But yes, at the end of the day, I do definitely recommend this if you are a Guardians fan, Rocket fan, SHFiguarts fan, or are collecting the movie SHFiguarts stuff. It's definitely worth it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. So I received Rocket this morning. And like most of my Figuarts purchases, I get them out of the box instantly. Figuarts is one of my favorite toy companies in the game. It's usually the figures I'm most excited about, so out he came instantly. My wife had mentioned that she wanted to check him out. So I took the box downstairs with the accessories and I left the figure on the kitchen island. I went to the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, I hear my wife say, "Is this the Rocket?" To which I replied, "Yes." And she said, "But he's so small. Isn't it... How much did he cost?" I said, "The same as regularly." And they said, "For half the figure," which got me thinking and slightly irritated. And I said, "Yes, for half the figure, but do you want him to be any larger than what he is? I mean, like, that wouldn't be accurate to the character." And I'm thinking about it, and I'm irritated by her kind of criticism of the price point versus the size. So I'm like, maybe, I see where she's coming from. So then I looked at him, I'm messing with him at the kitchen counter, and I'm really thinking about how I feel about it. And the truth is that we're not really paying for the plastic. Like, plastic is not that expensive in general. Of course, the price of plastic fluctuates, but it never really gets to the $60 part. I mean, like, none of these Figuarts are $60 worth of plastic. What you end up paying for mostly is the engineering, the sculpt, the paint, the accessories, stuff like that. So, truthfully, it's pretty much the same engineering. It's the same level of sculpt. It's more paint than I'm actually used to, if not the same amount. And the accessories are kind of dressed up to the nines, including the Groot and Groot options. So, like, yeah, I think the price is consistent for the product. It's less plastic, but that's not what we're really paying for. Anyway, what didn't help my situation was that as I'm sitting there at the kitchen table explaining that to my wife, my 9-year-old daughter comes in and says, "Wow, small rocket."